ones that don't know, wholesaling real estate, I always compare it to flipping real estate. You don't actually have to take possession of the property. Now, what does that mean? What that means is you basically get a house, usually it's private because this is what we do for wholesaling, and the seller will get you to fill out the offer to purchase, meaning now you have the right to buy that house. What you'll then do is take that contract, and then you're essentially selling the contract to another investor, to another buyer. The buyer will pay you a certain amount of money for that contract. You fill out an addendum, or sometimes you can even fill out a whole new offer to purchase with this original seller. And then now that new buyer is going to be the one that actually takes possession. And then that becomes, maybe that's their buy and hold, maybe that's their flip, maybe they're going to burr that deal. So to start, I always start with a little bit of mindset of like, okay, how do we actually view wholesaling, right? I look at wholesaling as it's essentially a marketing and sales game. I always use the analogy of it's like you're going fishing, right? You want to set out your lead generation. How are you getting these leads? And you start that, whether it's in the morning or during the day, so that leads start coming to you. So I always like to reverse engineer things so that you have a full view of how wholesaling real estate works. Because at the end of the day, you have to sell the contract, right? So you want to think about who's your end buyer. And this is why like wholesaling on its own is a little flawed in the sense that, yeah, you can make some money just wholesaling, but you need to understand the other aspects of real estate, right? And this is where like wholesaling goes hand in hand with the other strategies. So what are those other strategies? You have house flipping, you have the burr strategy, and you have buy and hold. Now there's rent to own as well, which is kind of another form of buy and hold. But those are kind of your different strategies that you can use, right? You're either going to flip the house, or your end buyer, is going to flip the house. They're going to use the burr strategy, or they're going to have the buy and hold. They might even live in the house, right? So you want to start with that end in mind. Like, who is actually the person who's going to buy this contract from you? From there, right before that, well, you got to get these buyers in, these potential buyers. So this is where you'll run a showing, right? A private showing, where it's going to be filled with qualified buyers so that someone can actually get that house for their flip, for their burr, for their rent to own, or their buy and hold. Right before that, well, you actually have to close the deal and negotiate with that seller, the person who you're buying the deal from, right? You actually get the wholesale lead. Before that, you most likely got to meet with the seller and get to the house so you can actually analyze the deal, take a look at the property, see if this actually makes sense. And then before that, which we'll be focusing on today, is actually, okay, how do you actually generate that lead? How do you actually have someone come to you to be like, hey, I want to wholesale my house to you specifically? So the big key here is essentially you want to know who is the type of person to actually sell their house to you privately. That's basically what you want, right? And it comes down to how you're branding yourself, right? Whether you're going to brand yourself as a real estate investor or just a wholesaler, or maybe you're a flipper, the key here is people need to know you're in real estate, right? If people don't know you're in real estate, very difficult to have these leads come to you, right? It starts with that branding piece. And all that means is that you're putting either online or offline content, specifically telling people that you're actually looking to wholesale a house, or you're looking for someone who wants to sell their house privately. In a second, we'll talk about who are those type of people that could be the exact avatar that you're looking for that will sell their house to you, right? But it's a combination of online and offline marketing. I prefer online marketing mostly because I travel quite a bit. There's a lot more scale in the mean, and what that means is like you'll put a piece of online marketing out there. Like if you guys notice, almost every morning I'm putting some form of Facebook post that says, hey, if you're looking to sell your house, let me know. Here's my contact info. This is the type of person that I'm looking to help out. Right. I think a couple of days ago, we put out a piece where we're looking for people that are landlords, but they don't want to be landlords anymore. This is what's going to be called a distressed landlord. The offline marketing, like the in real world marketing, you'll probably see those signs. We buy houses for cash. I know some people who are already wholesalers, they like to put the letters in the mail. Others, they'll make like little postcards, or others will just like actually network. The key here, the main idea is that all these things, no matter how you're advertising, the main goal is to let people know that you're looking for wholesale deals, that you're looking to buy houses privately. Okay? Because if people don't know, very difficult for them to give you that lead, right? And that's where that branding comes into play. Like, people need to know that you're real estate. Now, this is a small nuance, but in real estate investing, and this is something I help my high performance students, especially the ones that are already in like flipping or house building, especially the ones in the States there. As an investor, you kind of want to dress the part. As a wholesaler, you also want to dress the part. I'm not going to show up to a wholesale deal in nice formal clothes. I'm not going to wear a suit and tie. I want to create familiarity and comfort with the potential seller, meaning I'll probably wear, clothes that looks like more like I'm a contractor. I'll wear jeans. I'll wear, clothes with, sometimes I'll even wear like my quote unquote painting clothes. So it looks like I'm just like a regular dude, just a painter. I don't want to walk in there looking like an investor. I want to walk in there looking like someone that, maybe I just got off the job. I just left my construction job. Okay. That's part of the brand as wholesaling. Even the car that you drive. One of my friends who's a good wholesaler in the city, he'll drive his beater to show up to sellers' homes, because then that's what sets up the frame that, like this person has to buy my house at a low price because, look at the car they're driving. Now, if you show up in like a Range Rover, well, now it's going to be a little bit, they're going to want more for their house because they're showing up in a nice car, right? That's part of that branding. You want to really understand what's like the psychology of your end seller, right? Who's the person who's actually going to possibly sell you their house? I'll make a post about real estate there, but I want to get some leads for some wholesales, but I don't know what to write. So again, we're going to pick one client avatar. Let's say it's a distressed landlord. And then we're going to pick what type of post. I like Facebook just because a lot of people, if you take a look at the distress, the 6 Ds that we talked about, it's usually older people, right? And older people tend to be on Facebook as opposed to other social medias, right? I will tell people on my social media, my Instagram, even my Snapchat, a little bit younger folks, but I frame it as that maybe they don't want to sell their house, but they know someone that does, and I'd love to give them that referral fee or put them in a contest so that they can win a referral bonus. So let's pick a distressed landlord. So I'll put write a quick Facebook post about distressed landlords and if they want to sell their property privately. Add, this is going to be important, add a CTA, which is a call to action, to text or call me at, and I'll put my phone number, if they want to sell their house fast for cash. Now let's go type it out. This number looks a little wonky, but now we'll go through it. Again, don't just copy paste this. Add your own flair. This is what's really going to teach you how to write this out, right? But it's like, hey, attention distressed landlords. Are you a landlord feeling overwhelmed by the challenges of property management? If the idea of dealing with tenants, repairs, and all the hassles has you feeling stressed, I'm here to help. If you're considering selling your property privately, you want a quick, hassle-free solution, I got the perfect solution for you. My team specializes in buying houses for cash, providing you with a smooth and speedy transaction. Say goodbye to the stress and uncertainty. Let's make the selling process simple and convenient for you. Again, it's always about them. It's not about how much money you're going to make. Reach out to me at enter number via text or call, and let's discuss how I can help you sell your house fast for cash. The property journey starts here. This one I'd probably delete, like, your property journey starts here. Not really. Like, I'm helping them get rid of the house. Turn your distress into success. We'd love to pay you fast. All right. So some ways that you got to make some changes, but this is a great way when you're feeling stuck and you're like, I don't know what type of marketing to post, let's say on Facebook there. Okay. Couple other ways that you can find more leads is you could partner up with other wholesalers. And this is called co-wholesaling, right? This is basically what I do. I'll still put out the lead generation to generate my own leads and find my own wholesales. That being said, I almost prefer to do a co-wholesale because then I only have to do half the work. So how does a co-wholesale work? What you guys can do is whenever you drive around the city and you see those "we buy houses for cash" signs, I call them, and then you introduce yourself not as a seller, be like, hey, I don't want to sell my house, but either as a buyer or a co-wholesaler. We'll be like, hey, how's it going? How long have you been wholesaling? Awesome. Are you interested in partnering up? Let's say you have a wholesale. I'd love to be on your buyers list, and I'll help you find a buyer. If I bring a buyer and we close, is it fair that, we split the wholesale fee? Usually in the city, the wholesale fee is about 10 grand. And, if someone brings me a lead and I bring a buyer, I'll actually just take half, and that's a 5K wholesale fee, right? Don't need to take the whole wholesale fee. For me, it takes a lot of work, right? I'm not going out putting letters in people's mailboxes anymore. I'm not even putting on the signs that say "we buy houses for cash." That takes a lot of time. Or what I like to do is just sit at home, work on the computer, and then generate leads like that. Get the calls, handle the call, and then go through that process with that seller. Because after you connect with the seller, then you want to actually show up, set up a time where you can meet with the seller, and then you can actually see the house. I don't negotiate before I see the property. I always say it's important to see the property because that's how I actually determine, does this wholesale make sense? But it all starts with that lead generation. Okay? Because without leads, without people knowing that you're looking to buy houses privately, very difficult for people to reach out to you or for you to generate those leads so that you actually know, okay, like who's selling their house privately, right?
The knowledge I had with real estate wasn't that great, and that's when I knew I needed a mentor to guide me through the steps of minimizing my mistakes and obtaining property. It kept me accountable with the limited time I had after the long hours at work. It taught me things I wouldn't have learned without a mentor.
Thank you to Patrick. Big help, helped me with pretty much everything ever since I started. So big shout out to Patrick and Alliance.
Nice. Yeah, Nick's an action taker, so we can help guide you, but you still got to do work, and Nick is a testimonial for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And thank you again, Patrick, for this program. It changed my life. It changed my mindset. It changed everything. That was the best six weeks of my life.
I just want to give a shout out to my man Patrick. Just honestly been one of the best teachers that I've ever had.
It's a very informative course. Patrick works with you one-on-one, so if there's any questions or anything you might be doubting or you're uncertain of, he'll definitely be there to help. Honestly, I highly suggest this course. It's taught me a lot through my journey.